On this episode of the Layover Live, Michele stops by to talk chat landing pages. Oh, that brings up something I want to talk to you about. Can you sign up for my newsletter? Come on, just sign up for my newsletter.
Well, I'm not too
Come on, sign up for my newsletter.
Jason, let's chat about this.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 109 of the Layover Live, where we bring you the top article from the layover each week. I'm Jason Swick, VP of Digital Marketing, joined by Michele Barnes, Senior CRO Analyst. So welcome.
Thank you.
Yep, I don't mean to keep bothering you about signing up for my newsletter.
Well, that's why we're going to talk this out.
Yeah, let's talk it out. Let's talk about chats today. And something that's, I think, starting to hear more about now in the digital marketing space, and that is these chat landing pages versus traditional landing pages. And the article that we have this week comes from IAMPOP, where we talk about this very, very subject and the importance of it. So let's first start out, maybe, Michele, with talking about marketing in the traditional sense and just what is a landing page and like when are they used?
Yeah, so traditionally with landing pages, we are driving visitors to our website to a very focused page. It normally has about one goal that you want the visitor to complete.
Right.
In reference to earlier, normally that could be signing up for a newsletter, pushing them out to partner referral, but it's very focused on getting a visitor to complete a certain task. Now, they're efficient at converting visitors because as long as your marketing is targeted and your landing page is relevant, you have that focus on the page, but the thing we see with landing pages is you're really talking more at the visitor versus with the visitor.
Yeah.
It's you're just trying to guess what they want, and you're trying to get them to do what you want them to do.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think chat in some ways will help us nurture that conversation a little bit more. So let's talk about that. Now, the article then mentions that 85% of consumers really prefer to interact through chat, especially as we think about younger audiences. We start to think about Gen Z and marketing to them, as that's an ever-growing audience segment that we're trying to target. So why is that, and how can then maybe using chats be beneficial?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, like 85% of consumers are starting to interact with businesses through chat. Now, if you start to look at the consumer market, that has grown significantly, where majority of that market has either in their adult lives had social media or their entire lives had social media.
Yeah,
where
that's all they know, right?
Yeah, they're looking for this social interaction between themselves and the business. Basically, they want to get to know you and they want you to get to know them. So when we talk about how to format that for a landing page, with chats, you can really start to increase engagement with the visitor. You can start talking with your audience. So by talking with the audience, you can start to garner more data and more information, and that's through conversational speak. So instead of just having them select interests, you're now asking them what type of activities do they like to do when they come to a destination, what type of restaurants are they looking for, and you can start to use that information to qualify visitors, and then really essentially become more like a personal concierge and start to drive those visitors to your partners in your destination and really push them down through the funnel a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a good point. And we just talked about this in last week's Layover, right, where we talked about pushing people through the funnel, nurturing through the funnel. It's not as easy in this day and age to go step 1 to step 2 to step 3. It just doesn't work that way, right? We have to nurture and move them through there. That often requires us having to learn a lot more about them. Chatbots can really help to pull that out of that user to find out what they're really interested in, where are they at in the decision-making process, so we can give them the content they need to make the proper decisions. So all this talk about chat, all this talk about these type of things, right? A lot of DMOs just don't have this type of technology or aren't leveraging it through other things like messenger ads and things of that nature. So for DMOs who don't have a chatbot on their site, can they still get something from this article?
Yeah, so I mean, the main point is it's really about being social with your audience. So you can start by engaging people on social media, but then you can use your advertising to start getting them to click through to your Facebook Messenger. It's one of the most downloaded applications on mobile devices. Even if they aren't directly on Facebook or Instagram, a lot of times they have Facebook Messenger, so you can start engage with them. And then based on those interactions that you have with visitors, you can actually create remarketing lists to them and create lookalike audiences through those platforms.
Yeah, I got to imagine very, very, very powerful, and it's something to definitely keep an eye on, especially as you start to become more sophisticated. The audiences that we're now working with are more sophisticated than they have ever been before. Finding better ways to communicate with them. Traditional still works. right? Let's not throw that out. It absolutely works. But we have to find better ways and different ways of engaging an audience, and chatbots is a great way to be able to do that. So Barnes, thanks for stopping by and sharing some of that. All of this has to do with really good CRO practices, right? Conversion optimization practices, growth optimization. And one thing I want to mention before we go is a new series that we're going to have coming out in the next couple of weeks that has to do with CRO, it has to do with growth optimization and the importance of doing it. It's something we introduced a few years back. We want to reintroduce it because it is one of the most important things, in my opinion, that destination marketers could do today. SEO has been a staple for a long time. I think CRO is just as important as we're starting to think about ways to better balance this website's intention with the visitor's overall experience. CRO is a must. You need to be testing with what the user wants. DMOs spend lots of money with their marketing each and every year on driving traffic to a website. We often don't spend a lot of money testing that user experience and testing what they want once they get there, so they are completing more desired actions, right? Because it's not just about sessions anymore, it's not just about click-through rates. Although those things are important, what do we want them to do once they get to the website? And I think this series you'll really enjoy doing that. So please look out for that. That's in the coming weeks. Marketing team will be working with us to get that out. So thanks for tuning in. Thank you for coming in, Barnes, and sharing that CRO information with us. We're also available on Spotify and iTunes if you want to consume us through podcasts. If you're not subscribed, we'd love to have that as well, so you can stay tuned each and every week. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time, and have a great week.
So before we go, Jason, I'm really glad that we could talk this out.
Great. Nice chat, Barnes.